Hi, welcome to American Dream Vacations. My name is Virgil, and I'm going to be doing the orientation on Unit 1842. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to walk over here and we're going to talk about keys. Um, this round handle key does the door handle. It's lock and unlock. This other lock here is for the deadbolt, and that locks and unlocks the deadbolt. Okay? This shiny key here that says 751, this unlocks all the compartments around the outside of the motorhome. This also unlocks all the compartments on most motorhomes and travel trailers and pop-ups. So most people have one of these keys if they have an RV. So if you have important things, don't leave them outside. Or if you need some beer late at night, you got a set. No, I'm just kidding. You got a 751 key. But anyway, and then finally, this other key here does the door locks and the ignition on the truck part of the RV. And then you've got this little fancy remote here. This only unlocks the truck doors. It has no effect on this side door. Okay? So we're going to go back up here. We're going to start over here. You've got power mirrors, and they are adjusted from the inside here. You have your patio awning here, and it's a power awning. And I'm going to show you inside here. There's a button inside that allows you to move this awning in and out. So if you come over here and you see the one that says awning out, you push it and you just hold it. And then the awning is going to start coming out. Some tips on the awning. Do not have the awning out when it's raining, because the wind will tear the awning. The wind can bend the arms, or the water puddling up in the center can damage the awning. And don't go to sleep with the awning open at night. And by no means do you want to go off on a hiking trip or whatever and leave the awning out while you're gone. Okay? So you put the awning and you take it all the way out. And to bring it in, you use the same button and you bring it back in. And it's a little slower process because there's a lot of tension on that arm, but you basically bring the awning back in. Okay? So bear with me here for a minute while the awning comes in, or either I'll just move along to another spot here. Let's do that. And I'll try not to hit my head on this railing, which I do most often. Over here, you have an outside entertainment center. You have a really nice TV outside here, and of course, you have to have either electricity plugged up to the RV, or you have to have the generator running. But that's how you can sit out here and watch TV here, okay? And there is a remote control for that TV. All right, I'm gonna close this compartment here. And then you have a storage compartment down here where you can store a few small items there. And we'll close that one. Keep moving on here. We talked about the locks in the door. Over here, you have electrical outlets. And of course, these outlets only work when you're either plugged up to electricity or you have the generator going. And then over here, you have another storage compartment. This right here is the vent for the back of the refrigerator. There's no reason for you to go in there and do anything. That's just for us to do maintenance. Also on this awning, you have some LED lights. So you have your porch light, and then you have these really cool LED lights at night. You can turn them on and they kind of light up the area out here. Okay? Let me close this one here. And then of course, this is just slide out, and we'll show you how all that works once we get inside. Storage compartment here. We'll close these off. A lot of storage on this RV, folks. Another storage compartment here, and then you have this little catch here that hooks on there, so it'll stay open while you're loading it. And once again, storage here, and we'll just keep moving. Around on this side of the RV, you've got the ladder. There's nothing on top of the roof that you need to be concerned with. There's no storage up there. This ladder is for us to go up on the roof and do service to the air conditioner or to the roof. So please don't go up on the roof there. This does have a hitch on the back if you wanted to tow something. There is a fee. If you want to tow something, we'd have to know what you're trying to tow. Okay? Over on this side here, we have another deep storage compartment here, and there is a light in here. So if it's at nighttime, you can come over here and turn on the light here and see what you're trying to either get in or put in or take out. And we'll close that one up. Over here, this is where you will fill up your fresh water. Behind this wall, there is a freshwater tank that probably holds 45, 50 gallons of fresh water. And that's the water that you'd be using when you're traveling down the road. So if someone had to use the restroom or whatever, you'd be using that water. Where you fill this tank is, you basically remove that cap and you take your 25-foot long water hose. And you have it hooked onto the faucet at your campsite, or if you're at home, you hook it up to your faucet at your house, and you would take this end of the hose, and you basically would slip it up in there, and then you'd fill up the freshwater tank. There's two ways to know the tank is full. One way is, water's gonna start shooting out right there and hit you in your chest or in your face. And the other way is, there's a monitor panel inside that shows you when your freshwater tank is full, okay? So once the water starts shooting out of here, you remove your hose, and then it's going to finish shooting off, and then you just recap this, and now you have a full tank of fresh water. Okay. Also, over here you have your city water connection. Now what that is when you get to a campground and you want to hook water up to the RV, basically you're going to use your 25-foot long water hose. You're going to take this in with this water pressure regulator. You're going to screw this onto the faucet, and the other end of the hose is going to hook right into here. It's threaded, and you just screw that into there. Once you have it firmly in place, then you turn on your faucet. And this regulator is going to regulate the amount of water pressure that's going to come in from the faucet into the RV. If you don't have one of these on there, you need to make sure you get one. We supply them, but if for some reason you don't have one, do not hook this hose up without it, because that water pressure can blow the plumbing right out of the RV. So make sure you have that. And check it before you leave here, okay? And that's how you hook up your city water connection. Just hold that. All right, let me recap this. And over here, of course, is your fuel fill. This RV uses regular unleaded. It tells you right there. You just basically unscrew that, and then when you lock it, you click it until you turn it till it clicks. This RV holds about 58 gallons of fuel. Up here is where you are going to be dumping your tanks. So, if you don't pay any attention to anything I've said today, folks, you may want to pay attention to this part, because this can be a life-changing event right here. So, basically what you want to do is, you take your sewer hose that we provided you with, and you would unscrew this cap here, and this hose will go on just like that. You get it locked on, you pull on it, you make sure it's snug, and then the other end of this is going to go at your campsite or wherever you are trying to dump it, and then this is going to go into your slots. Some of them are threaded, and some of them are just different ways, but whatever it is, you need to make sure it's in there firmly. And then once you get this in place, you pull on it to make sure it's in there firmly, and then once you're sure of that, then you come over here and you're going to dump your black tank. You see, this is a black handle, and that's a gray handle. That valve is really small, and this pipe is really big. This is the sewage, the toilet. You know what I mean? So what you want to do, you pour that one first, and all of the sewer waste is going to come down through the hose, down into the ground there. Once it's done, you grab your hose, you shake it a little bit, and you kind of pick it up and you snake it until it runs right out into the ground, into your dump valve. And then you do the other side. Then you grab the gray handle and you pull that handle. And what's going to happen is the water from the sink and the shower is going to rinse out all of the toilet waste out of your hose. If you're at the campground and you got that guy next door to you that says he knows everything about RVs, if he tells you to leave those valves open, don't believe him. You need to leave those valves closed all the time. You need to let the pressure build up in the tank. If you leave the gray tank open, it'll run fine, but the black tank, another whole story. So make sure you leave those closed until you're ready to dump. And inside there's a monitor panel that's going to show you when it's time to dump. I'll show you that once we get inside. Okay, so you're done dumping, you close your valves, you pick up on your hose, you make sure everything's drained out, and then you unscrew your hose like so. And then you take your cap, and then you recap it. Make sure those are closed. Okay, this is where you would drain your freshwater tank. You don't need to do that, that's just for us to do maintenance on it. And then you put your sewer door back down. All right, over here, this is cable TV. If you're at a campground and they have cable TV, we don't provide coax cable, but if they have it, you can bring one with you, and you can hook the cable, coax cable onto this, and at the pole at your site, and then you can get maybe cable TV inside the RV. That's what that's all about. Over here, you have an outside handheld shower. So, if someone's already showering inside, you can always come out here and shower. Anyway, just kidding. But that's what that is, and you got hot and cold water there. Of course, in order to make this work, you need to either have the pump on, pumping the fresh water from that tank we talked about, or you got the city water connection, and then you have water coming from that source, okay? That's how that works. Over here, you got your propane tank. You got this valve here, and turning it clockwise closes the valve, and it won't allow any more propane to come from the tank into the RV. But you leave it open. It's perfectly safe to do that. If you use up all the propane, you're not required to buy more. But if you need more and you buy more, it's at your expense, okay? So the contract says we give you at least a half a tank of propane. And as you can see, this is definitely within the contract specs. So in order to fill it back up, you would basically undo this cap at a propane station, and this is what they do, not you. They'll be doing that. They take that cap off, they have a big hose they put on there, and then they refill it, okay? And that's how they would do that. All right, over here, this is the back side of the furnace, and it says hot, and it does get hot. The furnace is on. And this is the back side of the refrigerator. It works off of propane or electricity, and I'll show you how you turn that on once we get inside. It's 6 gallons of hot water, so once you start using water, the system automatically brings more in, so it's a continuous flow, but there's about a 20-minute gap or delay in between each time you take a shower. Inside this compartment, you have a couple of things. Number one, you have your power cord, and your power cord is 25 feet long, and it's 30 amps. In case you're wondering, people ask that question all the time, is it 30 amp or 50 amp? Well, that's what a 30 amp cord looks like. It's got 3 prongs. A 50 amp would have 4. So it's a 30 amp cord. So 25 feet long, like I said, and you plug it into a 30 amp outlet. Also, we provide you with a 15 amp electrical adapter. This will plug into the end on your 30 amp. This is really only provided so you can plug up the RV at your home or somewhere else and keep the refrigerator cold, save your propane, and keep the batteries charged. You can actually stay in this RV, if it were not summer, just off the 15 amps. But you cannot run the air conditioner, because the air conditioner is at 30 amps we talked about. If you have this plugged into a 15 amp outlet and you turn on the air conditioner, you're either going to trip the breaker in the RV, you're going to trip the breaker at whatever source you have it plugged into, or you could even melt the cord. Nasty things happen if you try to run 30 amps with only 15, okay? So that's what that's in there for. Over here, we have your Onan generator. First of all, it's perfectly safe to run this generator going down the road. That's why it's in here. This gives you electricity when you're not at a campground. This generator uses about 1 gallon of gas an hour. When your fuel gauge up at the front in the truck part is at 1/4 of a tank, this generator will shut off because the siphon hose in there is positioned in there so it won't use up all your fuel. So 1/4 of a tank, it shuts off. Now, let me show you over here, there's a breaker in here that you need to know about. Right down here, there's a little toggle switch. You see me flipping that back and forth? That is the breaker for the 30 amps of power. That breaker should be towards you when it's not tripped. If it's tripped, it's going to be away from you, okay? So, if it is tripped and the generator is running, what you need to do is turn off whatever you got inside that's using electricity, walk out here, and flip this thing back forward, okay? This yellow cap is where you would check the oil. You just basically have the generator off, of course, and unscrew it, and then check the oil. This button where it says stop and prime, this button is what starts and stops the generator. Whenever you start the generator, you always want to prime it first. You push the button in and you hold it, and I usually give it a count of 8 to 10, because this is a carburetor, it's not fuel injected, so you have to send fuel into the carburetor in order to get it to start. So I primed it, and I'm going to push it and hold it. That's how your generator starts up. So if you're having a hard time starting it, maybe you forgot to prime it, but just remember to prime it first. If it doesn't start on the first try, then prime it again, and then try it again, okay? And that's how that works. So in order to put this cover back on, you grab the handle just like, you grab the cover like so, you flip it up past the generator, you put the bottom piece in first. There's a little groove in there. You put the bottom piece in first, you push it forward, you turn the latches, and it locks. And then you pull on that cover to make sure she's on there firmly, okay? All right. And that's what your generator does. So once the generator's on, and you have electricity inside, you'll know, because if you look at the microwave, it should be lit up. If this thing is running and the microwave is not lit up, then maybe your breaker has been tripped. So you need to do what I told you to do. Walk out here and check that breaker and reset it. Okay. Over here at the driver's side, we've got a button over here for emergency start. Basically what this button right here does, if you left your headlights on and ran the truck battery down, all you'd have to do is sit up here, turn the key forward to start the truck, push that button simultaneously, and your RV batteries for the inside of the RV, not the truck, will give the truck battery a jump. That's what that's for, okay? That's all you have to do if your house batteries are charged. Your house batteries are charged via the alternator. So when you're driving down the road, the alternator is sending a charge to those other batteries. It's kind of like your battery up front here. They're both being charged, okay? All right. And then once again, we talked about the mirrors of power. And we've already checked all the fluids, but if you needed to get in here, it's just like on a regular truck or vehicle. There's a hood release under the hood, and you pop that, and then you would open this up, and then you can check your fluids and so forth. All right, well that concludes the outside of the orientation, and we'll do the inside here in just a moment. Thank you.